This offseason, no one expected the Boston Celtics to do the unthinkable by trading the heart and soul of the team Marcus Smart in a deal for Kristaps Porzingis. This deal might still be hard for Celtics fans, as Smart was a player that should have stayed with the organization his entire career. But the more I look into it, the Porzingis trade was actually excellent in a multitude of ways. Offensively, there are new dimensions that he can unlock for this team, and he even has an underrated offensive skill that hardly anyone talks about. And on the defensive end of the floor, he and Robert Williams should form one of the better front courts. Moreover, the Porzingis deal is just one in a bigger picture for the Boston Celtics, as they've used that trade and others to stockpile assets for smaller moves down the line or a big move down the line. Here's just how Kristaps Porzingis and the draft capital impact the Celtics next season, why the Jaylen Brown contract extension might be taking a little longer than you might think, and also why the Celtics are bound for success next season. But before we begin, be sure to leave a like on the video, as each like makes a tremendous difference for the channel, and be sure to sub to the channel for even more content like this. Since being traded from the Mavs, Kristaps Porzingis has easily been one of the underrated players in this league. In what was an uneventful season for the Wizards, Porzingis was the joint leading scorer on the team at 23 points per game, while chipping in 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 1.5 blocks per game. With respect to his fit in Boston, he obviously provides great floor spacing in the front court and has pretty deep range, with him shooting 39% from 3 last season on 6 attempts, and with 5 of those being catch and shoot attempts. This makes him a valuable contributor offensively, while also making him compatible with a host of players on the floor, particularly Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Moreover, he's not a stationary shooter when he gets looks created for him, as he can catch and shoot threes in transition and can do one of two things when defenders close out on him. One, he's more than capable of attacking those closeouts and finishing at the rim, and secondly, he can easily sidestep or dribble out of initial passes to create a better look for himself. He's effective in both pick and pop and pick and roll situations, can operate as a lob target. He's also effective as an off-ball player who can cut and slip through screens for easier looks, and he has very underrated value in the post. Porzingis was actually one of the most effective post scorers in the league last season, shooting 58% in post situations and being in the 89th percentile among all players. He not only has scoring prowess in the post, but the underrated skill I was talking about earlier is his ability to create out of the post, easily setting up cutting players. The Celtics offense will in fact be very fun with Porzingis next season, and I know he'll work well with JT and JB. But it's safe to say that KP is also valuable on the defensive end as well. He was one of the best rim protectors in the entire league last season, as defenders only shot 42% in the paint when he was the nearest defender. On that note, KP was effective in drop coverage last season. KP offers a ton of versatility to the Boston Celtics, and him extending for a 2-year deal worth $60 million is a huge steal that pairs him with at least Jason Tatum for the next 3 years. Out of that Porzingis trade, the Celtics also got the 25th pick in the NBA draft, which they flipped for 4 second-round picks, the Warriors' 2024 pick that's top 4 protected, and through the Grant Williams signing trade, they got 3 second-round picks from the Dallas Mavericks and saved money in the process. In the next 5 NBA drafts, the Celtics will now have 6 first-round picks, 7 second-round picks, and have the flexibility to make deals to better supplement the roster. The biggest deal the Celtics are obviously rumored with is a Damian Lillard trade, as even if Dame isn't interested in Boston, he doesn't have a no-trade clause, and Jaylen Brown is easily the best assets the Blazers can get back in any deal. The thing is, it's reported that the Celtics won't be making a strong push for Dame as things stand, and are still working to try to re-sign Jaylen Brown to an extension this offseason. Since the Celtics can substantially offer him more than other teams can if he were to hit free agency, they might be able to get Jaylen to take less than 35% of the cap when offering him his deal, which might be the holdup in the whole process. This would in turn give the Celtics a little bit more flexibility long term, especially with the new CBA coming into play, and given the figures that Fred VanVleet and Desmond Bane signed to recently, Jaylen Brown is definitely worth an extension, and the Celtics know exactly what they're doing by keeping their star duo together. Jaylen just came off an All-NBA season where he averaged 27 points per game. He's one of the best wings in the entire league. He's been one half of a duo that's made 4 conference finals appearances in 6 years. And while he did struggle in the Eastern Conference Finals, he's only just about to enter his prime at 26 years of age. Beside him will be Jason Tatum, a bona fide superstar in this league that's only 25 years of age and a top 10 player. Tatum is a player that gets a ton of unnecessary hate for having success so early in his career and not winning a title yet. But the narrative that he's incapable of being the best player on a title team is completely laughable. Giannis, Steph, and Jokic are all-time great players that are held in high regard by NBA fans. But none of those guys were able to make the NBA Finals at 25 years of age or younger. But in due time, all 3 of these guys proved that they could be true number ones on championship teams, so there's no reason why we should be writing off Jason Tatum. Tatum just came off an All-NBA season where he was the first Celtic ever to average north of 30 points per game, made notable strides in key areas, averaged 27, 11, and 5 in the playoffs, while proving pivotal in the Celtics being just 1 game shy of another finals appearance. He dropped the most points ever in a Game 7 when he dropped 51 against Philly, averaged 27, 9, and 6 in elimination games, and is already top 50 in all-time playoff scoring. Jaylen and Jason are the best duo in the Eastern Conference, and if we just take a page out of the Denver Nuggets book, the C's should and will not be in rush to break up this duo. Despite him suffering a torn ACL and many stars being available over the past few years, the Denver Nuggets were adamant about keeping Jokic and Murray together, and after 7 years, they finally won an NBA title. So there's no reason why an even younger duo in Jaylen and Jason can't break through for a title in the next few years. The Celtics should still be a great defensive team due to the personnel and insane length that they have at all positions with the Porzingis trade. They're still going to be one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league, just as they have been over the past few years, and there's overall uncertainty in the Eastern Conference. We have no clue whether James Harden's going to stay ultimately or whether he's going to be traded outside the conference. We have no clue where Dame is going, as a deal to the Heat is not a formality, and the Celtics overall are good enough to contend with the best of the best. With that being said, let me know your thoughts on the Boston Celtics in the comment section down below. What are your expectations for Kristaps Porzingis in green, and how effective do you believe he can be for this team? Also, comment your expectations for a Tatum Brown duo next season, and whether you think they're good enough to lead the Celtics to a title. Be sure to leave a like on the video, as each like makes a tremendous difference for the channel, and be sure to sub to the channel for even more content like this. Hope to see you all in the next one, and stay tuned.